put it that way. Does that make sense to you?
It makes sense. The other thing I've noticed is a lot of things have been coming to light. I was watching the news this morning, and a female chemist actually had been not really doing her job and sending a lot of people to prison because of it. The tests were inconclusive, and she was sending in the information and basically saying that whatever the tests may have been was positive. And now they're releasing thousands of prisoners in Massachusetts out to the streets.
You're kidding. I didn't hear about that. I guess I didn't hit world news there, unfortunately. But you're going to see, again, I'm glad you brought that up, because you're going to see a lot of truths now. And you may not like it, because the truths that are coming out are, again, they're kind of juxtaposed because they're in different positions. It could be truths that you don't want to hear, and it could be truths that you knew from your gut that it was the truth. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so,
I think in regards to relationships, in regards to careers, in regards to who we think we are.
Well, that definitely. But I'm talking about even world things, politics, in any, not exactly any genre, but you're going to see a lot of the truths. And I kind of touched on it on one of the videos where I said it was on the general video introduction. But basically, you're going to see the truths, and it's, again, the diversity of, you're feeling a bit more hopeful, which I know a lot of people have accused me, all you do is give in negative, you know, earthquakes and this and that. But basically, it's to do with... Yeah, gloom and doom, but it isn't. It's real. You know that. Now, don't give me bad time here.
Oh gosh, I know, absolutely.
Thanks, but you know, I'm honest, and I rather believe in honesty on that way, and you'll have the information. But there is going to be a great year ahead. It will start round about in June, July. But it's to do with, you know, again, you can't just, like the polar shift, it's not going to happen with a flick of the switch like some people have indicated, which is ridiculous. It's going to happen over, you know, not exactly a century, but it's going to happen over quite a huge amount of years. But it's really...
Yeah, I hear between 2012 and 2032 will be, you know, the greatest part of it.
That's right. That's exactly it. And it's about, actually, it'll take about 25 to 26 years for that transition to happen. But that's significantly. But again, you're going to have a lot of problems, because obviously it's going to affect quite a bit of things, like the electricals. But again, it's forcing people to look at things differently too. But there's going to be a huge positive on that because of the pole reversal. There's going to be a lot of inventions that's going to be far more environmentally safe and holistic. So that's the great news on it. But
people... I was going to ask that, by the time we get to 2032, what you see as far as technological advances?
I have covered a lot in the book, but basically you're going to see, you know, we're not going to be in the Jetson age, put it that way, but 2032 is going to be far more of an even society, in that technologically, yes, there's going to be, I would say, a good 17%. It's going to be reduced. I feel that it's far more on a universal, you know, a platform, put it that way, that they're going to agree that we are destroying the planet, because I hate to say it, there's going to be quite a few episodes where, again, we discuss this, and it's covered in the book, is a terraformer of the planet, that we are destroying, other than, you know, the oceans we're destroying, the air and everything else. So there's going to be a lot of evolution. But again, this is all tied in with, Ron, free will. And free will can kick anybody's head, kick in the head, you know, from a large donkey in a way, in the way that you could go skewered off somewhere else, where free will means that a corporation or a conglomerate can actually buy themselves a different technology to adversely change it. Like you know, there are cars that run on water, salt water, correct? And other forms. But of course, the car industry, which I know I'm going to be not going to be popular with, have been either buying the patents and literally sitting on it or destroying it, correct?
Yeah, very true.
All right.
Very true. I mean, the oil companies have their hands in a number of things. I mean, from cosmetics to, you know, what is in our foods, and you know, the unique combination in the U.S. of the Food and Drug Administration.
Oh,
should actually
please.
be two separate entities, you know, not the same, because you know, that's a topic for a whole other show. But there are just the oil industry has their hands in so much, and so much harmful stuff for people that they're putting on their skins. They're
Exactly.
ingesting. You know, and what's really, I think, contributing to this change and this awakening as far as what's been going on in the world, that's going to contribute to what you're saying, an equilibrium, you know, more people being, you know, equal society on the planet by the next 20, 25 years, is that they have awoken to it. They get it.
Yeah.
To see how the whole economic system has been working against them in this country, in the world, for many years now.
Correct, and it's also to do that it's all tied in, no offense to the government, but quite frankly, the lobbyists are, it's all about control, who's got the money to control. And via some are the lobbyists, there are good lobbyists, but the thing is, we are going to be far more functional, and that is why, remember we talked about the pendulum effect that I written about? And the pendulum effect is going to the extreme where we're seeing that, one, the economy is not as safe as it could be. People are losing jobs and still losing. But the economy is going to get better, by the way, next year. And that's part of this shift. So really, I know we can go on and on. I don't mean to take time here. But basically 1221 is something of a great freedom. It's as if the gates of hell have been, you know, we are escaping from hell in a way. You know, not to say that we've been in hell, but in a way we've been in a very closed mentality, tied down by you know, certain religious edicts and perceptions, when actually we don't need to be. We have such, and that's why the only reason, one of the things I'm putting out the predictions again this year, actually I wasn't going to, but there were quite a few people who wanted it, but to prove that we are connected to spirit, that there is more than our physicality here, and that's what's going to be a presence. You're going to see far more, not confrontations with entities, but confirmations where people are going to know that they are getting precognitive dreams, or they're seeing things. They're being far more clairvoyant. Every time I do a lecture, I'm going to be in San Diego this Sunday doing a lecture, same thing. I always ask that, and sure enough the hands go up, that they are far more aware.
You're talking about the cocooning and wanting to sleep more. Well, a part of that also has been for myself, slipping into this very vivid dream state, almost a state of astral travel, where I'm in classrooms, I'm meeting with people, we're discussing different things. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm starting to feel that the spiritual is more real than the real.
Yeah, exactly. But there's the rub. You have to be careful, Ron. A lot of it's not a huge amount of my clients, but some of my clients don't want to come back. And you can't do that. Yeah. You can't be seduced by the other side. You have to come back. It's going to be really detrimental. You have to exist here. This is your lesson. You're allowed to cross over. And again, it's usually in dream state, because we are such controllers, a good 98% of us. But you have to understand that this is where we have to exist and learn our lessons. But they're allowing the access, the door to be opened, the gate to be opened, so that we can go back and forth. When people are really exhausted, and I say this in another class, that when you're exhausted, when you get up and you know you've had a good 6, 7, 8 hours sleep, it's because you were doing so much learning on the other side, you know, and that's why you're exhausted. So don't fight it, but always note it down, put down. Don't say, oh, I'll remember it. No, you'll forget it. Try and have a pad and pen beside your bed and write down what you see. From this day onwards, you should have a little journal. private, of course, but you will be seeing and realizing lessons and revelations that people are just, you know, emailing me, oh, I had this one, I had that, which is fantastic. But this is about the awakening, and that is what 1221 is about, or this 1212, the whole year of 12, you know, 2012 is about awakening and reconnection with spirit. We had started from spirit, but we're reconnecting far more on a forcible way and a dimensional way. There are three dimensions being interweaved. We talked about this a long time ago, and this is the start of it, and far more obvious recognition of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Do you think we should be directing ourselves and taking the initiative to move in the direction of what we perceive is our life path, or do you think that if we just kind of like sit back and do what we can do in the moment, that things will unfold for us and we'll find our place?
It's a mix of the two, and it's a bit of a paradox on that, because some people can sit back in an armchair with a remote control. Oh, it'll happen. No, it won't. You have to work towards it, but not obsess about it, and that's the fine line, where you say, I have to do this, but it's nothing to do with that. You have to realize that it is really to do with recognizing your own intuition on it. And if you don't, you're going to lose everything. So be aware of it, and then you'll see, and that's why I'm saying, write it down, and you'll see so many revelations. You'll be amazed that you are correct. And that's why, you know, this Epoch Succession is more or less a handbook, interactive. I'm making you and pushing you to think and start exploring your own. And that's what all they want us to do, is to grow here, but to recognize that we can be very happy, but we are so stubborn. We think this happiness is attached not exactly to an almighty dollar, but you know, it's more physical things. It isn't. When you get happy with spirit, you'll find your path so much easier than if you're saying, okay, this is what I see I'm doing. No, not necessarily. You may be just programmed to think that way. Does that help?
So as we're going into this, should we be concentrating more on developing our own intuitive abilities and trusting our own guidance system rather than looking externally to others to tell us where to go?
Well, it's easier said than done, but I always say classes choose you, you don't choose the classes. But same with people around you. There's going to be, and I don't know if we had time last time, but there are going to be some little miracles in your life where there are going to be angels around you. People call them angels, but quite frankly, people in your life who are going to help you on your journey. But if you're not really primed for that, you're not going to recognize that. And that's why, you know, oh, that person just mentioned something, but it's as if it's the cog in the wheels are just literally connecting like this, and they're really going to be moving you forward, or even projecting you forward. There's going to be some extraordinary things happening within the next 2 weeks, where things are that you'd never believe. And again, remember the last show I said, go write down what you want, not what you don't want. Don't want to even touch that. What you want. Things are going to start coming into a real life perspective and actually happening. Not everything, but in their way, and you have to recognize it. Okay?
All right, let's